Good morning, students. Let us today discuss about the features and the properties of biological databases. So, it is the high throughput data used in bioinformatics belongs to different branches of the biology, and that can be transcriptomic, it can be whole genome sequencing, it can be genome, it can belong to epigenetics, it can belong to genome architecture, it can belong to cistronic, it can belong to protein and RNA structure, and it can be proteomic, etc. So this high throughput databases coming from the different branches of biology will have a few properties, and the features can be discussed under the following heads: data heterogeneity, high volume data, uncertainty, data curation, large scale, data integration and data sharing, and dynamic and subject to change. So all these are the features of biological databases. These databases, they have heterogeneity because every gene and every individual within the particular gene within the different individuals will have variation, and is called as heterogeneity because a gene in a person will have alternate forms, due to which we can say homozygous and heterozygous. The term homozygous and heterozygous comes from the genetic characteristic of the DNA or the gene. So if both the copies of a gene have same if it has the same features, then sequences in the gene, then it comes under homogeneity. If it has little variation, even if the variation up to the level of single nucleotide, then it can be considered as heterogeneity. So the data of the genome of a particular, if you take the reference of a particular single gene, so it will change from individual to individual. So data will have heterogeneity to the large scale. So individual to individual, some variation or some change will be there, some difference will be there. That is why it is definite that heterogeneity will occur in the data of nucleotide sequences or in the biological databases. And high volume data because a single gene may be of number of kilobases. So the volume of the data of a, if you take the nucleotide data, it will be a huge data, and if you talk about the complete genome, then it will become a very big volume of the data and for particular organism. And if you talk about human genome data, it is very vast and high volume data is there because after the sequencing of human genome, the data has been stored, but till now we cannot finally say that how many genes are really functional, because in the beginning of the genome sequencing, we came to the information that total 1 lakh genes are present, 1 lakh genes are functional in the human body, and rest of the genes are junk DNA or non-functional DNA. But the DNA sequence, one or the other sequence, will have any of the function. It can have the function of exposing it in the phenotype, or it can have any other regulatory function, or it may be any function in the body which is not being seen in the phenotype. So there are many functions, but we don't know exactly. So later, after the huge research was conducted, and different sources gave the information, that it was decided that only 50%, 50 of the 50,000 of the genes are functional, and rest of the genes are non-functional or junk DNA. Now it has again come down to 25,000 functional genes. So that means we actually know the in research we came to know that this many genes are functional, and rest of the genes, they may be functional, but their function we don't know. So it is under the research process. It cannot be more than that, means it cannot be easily found out. It needs lot of information to be gathered to be known that how many genes are really functional, and how many are regulatory genes, and how many are belonging to the non-coding or the junk DNA. Or sometimes we think that the particular genes are particular DNA sequences are junk DNA, but they may have one or the other function. But the process is under research only, so it is still unknown. And uncertainty means every gene will have some function, but there will be certain sequences about which we are uncertain. So there will be some data about which we are uncertain. That is why there will exist in the biological databases, one of the feature is uncertainty. The uncertainty exists because of the limited knowledge. Data curation is another property which needs the collection of important or our related information from the huge data that is available. And data sharing is also one of the property, because when we have data or some researcher has the data, we have to for our purpose we need to share it from the others, or if our data is available, we need to, the others may share with us. So it will depending upon the requirement in the research and development. So dynamic and subject to change. So the data biological data is a dynamic one, and it may be subject to change. It may change because ongoing research will give some new results, or sometimes some new concepts will come. So all the theories or the concepts may be replaced by the new one, depending upon the research and development. So for the use of biological for storing the biological data, we need some softwares, and those softwares will help us in sequence analysis tools. The softwares may be some of the tools. Major types of bioinformatic tools, they are listed here, which you can go through: sequence analysis tools, sequence comparison, pattern and domain search, evolutionary analysis, prediction of the sequence structure and function, and visualization of the molecular structure of the biomolecules or the nucleotide sequences or protein sequences, structure modeling, because structure modeling helps the bioinformaticians to for drug designing and studying the biological reactions in the on the computer system, so that the possible drug may be designed for disease genes, some genes that are due to which some diseases are inherited, and how they can be corrected on the with the help of bioinformatic field. Bioinformaticians may study the genes, and they will try to make the models of the particular drug based on the structure of the protein, and drug design may be possible, may be done. So that will help the bioinformatician in modeling. So bibliographic and text searchers. So these tools also help in bibliography and text search, specialized and other tools. There are certain tools which may help in some specialized functions, because some specialized genes that, for example, inherited disorders that is based on Mendelian data, may have some specialized characteristics, and their structure and drug designing may be under the specialized tools, with the help of those tools. So databases models are divided into hierarchical databases and key value databases, column oriented, document oriented. So these databases are further divided into non-relational and relational. So under relational, it will show the databases may show the relationship with the other data that is already known to us, and non-relational will have networking of databases and hierarchical. So these are the database models. So the models have been categorized into two types. One is relational and the other is non-relational. In non-relational, network and hierarchical databases are considered. So the different database management systems are formed. So nowadays the different database management systems have been categorized into four main categories. They are hierarchical, DBMS, that is hierarchical database management system. The other is network database management system. The third category is relational database management system and object oriented database management system. So they are broadly classified into four categories or four domains, you can say. And apart from that, the another classification of the database management system is having 7 domains, such as hierarchical database management system, network database, relational. So this network was an object oriented. So in this database, this new form of the classification is added with the 3 more categories. One is graph databases. That means whatever the databases we have, the representation of the database in the form of graph, and ER model database, and document databases. So these are the three new addition in the second type of classification. So this type of the graphical representation of the databases will make us the diagrammatic representation of the particular data, which is already available in our systems. So how this database system management system has evolved, a little history is we'll go through a small history about it. So from 1960s, the very least computer knowledge was there, and file processing system remained dominant in this decade, because file management system and the first database system developed during the decade of 1960s. In early 60s it was detected. Now with some advancement, in early 1970s, hierarchical and network system came into existence, and commercial use of database management system was started in 1970s. So apart from that, gradual increase in the technology and development and the increase in the knowledge of computers, in 1980s the relational model was prepared, and it was widely being used for second generation of database management system. And apart from that, beginning of the structure query language, so the computer that means beginning of the SQL started in the early 1980s, and gradual increase in this computer knowledge has made the second generation database management system available for the researchers. In 1990s, the common use of different type of data like graphics, sound, images and videos started preparing with the help of softwares and the computers. So common use of different types of data like graphics, sound system, because in the early use of computer, sound system was not being available, and now with some advancement sound was being used, and audio is also possible with the help of data, whatever we are explaining or reading, so that audios are also made available, and with the help of graphics it was again further developed, and images and videos were being prepared in 1990s. So relational and the object oriented databases are the great importance nowadays. Now from after the 1990s, in 2000 and after 2000, the image mining distributed among the DBMS, and data warehouse and mining was being done, and nowadays it is so developed that we can also perform karyotyping and other drug designing with the help of this databases. So now it is widely used in bioinformatics, and now it is very helpful for bioinformatician to use the different databases and search the required data in the with the help of different database management systems. So it is now made available for the researchers to search and to use the different softwares. With the help of those softwares, researchers can study the characteristics of the data and also they can use in the research for the development of drug designing, or in the field of pharmacy, or in the field of genetics. So it was made available, and it is now highly useful for our use as a biologist. And this can be used in help us in research to find out which particular protein can be designed, and that based on that non for example disease gene is available, on the basis of that gene which protein it is being encoded under the disease condition, and what is the normal protein, and based on that modeling can be done and drug designing can be done with the help of database management system, which is being used in the field of bioinformatics.